everybody, my name's Kathy Herron. I'm a midwife and I'm one of the faculty members at the Midwifery Institute of Philadelphia University. And I am making this little video today to teach you how to tie one-handed surgical knots, both right-handed and left-handed. I'm going to first show you with a few props about square knots, and then I'll get down to showing you how to tie with string, and then finally with suture. And you can get some materials and practice along with me. So here we go. So I'm going to teach you how to tie knots, one-handed surgical knots, but just like with the old adage, if you give someone a fish, they'll eat for a day. If you teach them to fish, they'll eat forever. I would like to teach you what it is that you're doing so that when you look at other videos, when you look at other books that show you how to tie these knots, you'll realize there's many different ways to do it. I'm just going to show you my way. But if you understand the concept of what you're trying to end up with and why, then you'll be able to adapt it to what works for you. So I am going to use this prop of two iPhone charger cords, because one's purple and one is white, to show you about what a square knot is. We are going to be making square knots. The reason we're going to be making square knots is that square knots do not slip and they also lie flat. So to make a square knot, you can either say to yourself left over right, right over left, which is probably the easiest because you're going to be working with something that's all the same color. In this situation we have purple over white. Okay, but it's left over right. And then you're going to pull it through. And then you're going to do the opposite. You're going to do right over left. So right over left and pull it through. And now I've made a square knot. And I want you to look really carefully at what this looks like. It is two loops that are intertwined. And if you look very closely, you'll see that both of the white ends are coming through in the same way, and both of the purple ends are coming through in the same way. They are two interlocked loops. This is a square knot. It lies flat and it won't slip. When we are tying a surgical knot, we don't just stop here. We actually do 1.5 square knots. So we did left over right, right over left. We're going to do it one more time. Left over right. And this is what you are going to be tying. Look very closely at this. The white one is over the purple one here. The white one is over the purple one here, and the white one is over the purple one here. This is what you're going to end up with. 3 throws of a 1.5 times square knot. Now let me show you with the other end of my chargers what you don't want to do. You don't want to do a granny knot, which is a square knot that is not done correctly. Let's do left over right, just the way we started. But instead of doing the correct thing for a square knot, which would be now to do right over left, we're going to do left over right again. Left over right again. Okay, now look closely here and see how it differs from the square knot. This is not 2 loops that are interlocked completely. If you notice here, you can see that one end of the purple loop is underneath this white part, and the other is on top of it. The same on this side. One end of the white loop is on top of the purple, and the other is underneath. This is a granny knot. It does not lie flat, and it slips. You do not want to make this. And if we were going to do it again, let's see, we did left over right, we did left over right, and I'm going to do left over right for the 3rd time. So I've made 1.5 granny knots, and now take a look at how the colors work out. On the first throw, purple is on top of white. On the second throw, white is on top of purple, and on the third throw, purple is on top of white. This is wrong. It will twist and it won't hold. Let's bring back the correct way, and you can look at the difference. Granny, incorrect on top, square knot correct on the bottom. Again, the square knot has purple over white, purple over white, purple over white. This purple loop right here, both ends are coming through together underneath the white. This white loop right here, both ends together are coming out on top of the purple. This is a square knot. This is lying nice and flat. It's a little bit hard to see this because the wire is stiff enough, but this is starting to twist and is not going to lie flat. Okay, I have another example to show you that is a little bit more like suture material. This is back to my 6th grade days doing macrame. This actually is macrame, which is just tying string into square knots. This on the left here is square knot after square knot after square knot. You can see here that it lies completely flat and it's all very even. Okay, this is what we're going for. This middle one here is granny knot after granny knot. I'm going to straighten it out for you so you can see what it looks like. And you can see, just like I showed you with my phone charger cords, that we've got white, green, white, green, white, green, instead of one always being on top of the other. And, as you can see, it naturally twists. This is something that people do for decorative purposes if they're doing macrame or making lanyards. Remember lanyards when you were in camp? You would do this on purpose to make it twist. That is not what you want to have happen when you are doing surgical sutures. However, it gets just a little bit more complicated, and that's why I made this last one to show you. When you are doing surgical knots, there's 2 ways to do it. Two-handed, when you don't have any needle, and you can use both hands to make the knot, just like I showed you with the phone cords. But what I'm going to show you today is how to do it when you have a needle in one hand, and you cannot take that needle and go like this inside somebody. You're going to either stick them or stick yourself. The needle needs to be held to the side and still, and you're going to make these knots with one hand. When you do that, you are tying the same knot, but you're doing all the tying with one of the sides. In this case, in this example, I'm showing you that I did the tying with the green, and the white that I tied on top of stayed completely still because it was as if the white one had the needle on it and I couldn't move it. So instead of this kind on the left where I did it with 2 hands and I made the white and the green pulled into the knot equally, here I just have the white completely straight and the green going around the white. This is the same knot. This is pulled white and green equally. This is all green pulled over white. So when you are practicing and you notice, if you look closely, that your knots are looking more like this than like this, that's because you're doing it correctly. You're doing the one-handed knot where one hand is still, the white, and the other hand, the green, will be wrapped around. Okay? So now you've got the concept down. Let's put this into practice. Okay, now what I'm going to do is to show you something a little bit more to real life, and you can do this to practice also. I have 2 pieces of string in different colors. I'm going to tape them down with a piece of tape. You can do this also, or another thing that you can do is to tie your string onto something. Some people use the pulls on a drawer, or many different things that you could just tie on. Okay, so now I am going to show you how to tie a square knot with one hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to start out doing it right-handed. And if I'm right-handed, then I will have made a stitch with my right hand going from right to left, and then when I pull it through, my needle is over here on the left side. So the way that I tape this down, I have white on the left side, so we are going to pretend that my white string here has a needle on it, and I can't use it. So I can't do what I showed you before, which is do left over right with two hands and pull this through. Look, I would be pulling a needle through here. Not good. Okay, so we are going to make exactly the same knot, holding this still. Okay, I will show you this several times. So we are going to start out holding the right side string so that it goes across your fingers with the free end on the right, just like this. With your left hand, you're going to hold the other one still. Okay? Then you are going to take your right hand, which you can move. You're not going to move your other one. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to move it underneath the other one so that the white is going in between your first finger and your middle finger. Notice that I am holding the string tight with my thumb and my first finger right here. I need to have some tension here. So don't forget to hold this. Then you're going to bend your middle finger down over the white string, and also notice that I am holding tension here. With my left hand, although I'm not going to move the string, I am going to push it down next to my finger to make it very easy to bend my finger over it. And I recommend that you try to make this tension go right at your knuckle where you're going to bend, okay? So I'm pushing here and I'm holding on right here. I'm going to bend my middle finger down and I'm going to get the green underneath on the back of my finger. I'm still holding here with my thumb and my first finger, so I have tension here. As I straighten out my finger, I'm going to bring my ring finger in to help. See right here how I'm holding it between my two fingers? Now I don't need to hold on to here anymore. I'm going to let go, and I'm going to use my I'm going to use my middle finger and my ring finger now to pull this through the underneath the white, like this. Okay, now, important, when I pull it through, I'm going to pull it through with my hand face down. Remember that we started out with my hand face up? I'm going to pull it face down, but instead of pulling to the right, like you would normally feel most comfortable doing, you're going to cross your hand and you're going to pull to the left. Now, before I do that, I just want you to look how I'm holding this. I am holding this in all of my fingers. It's coming over my index finger right here. Okay, I am going to cross my hands and I'm going to pull. And I have made my first throw. And I'm going to get this down here so it doesn't come up. Okay. Now, I am going to bring my hands back together and stick out your index finger when you do this. My index finger now got into a loop made by the green and the white, as you can see, because as I brought my hands back together, I stuck my finger out and it came into the loop. What I need to do now is to bend my index finger up and get the green on the back of my finger and pull it up and through. When I do this, I am going to grab it with my hand face up, exactly how we started, and now I am going to pull it. And that is our first square knot, left over right, right over left. Now we need to do a third throw, remember, which is going to be just the same as the first because you want each one to be different. Remember, right over left, left over right, right over left. Okay, so we did the first throw, the second throw. We're going to do the first throw again. And look, my hand is exactly in the position to start again. Again, I'm going to bring it underneath the white one. I am going to push with the white one down right on the place where my finger will bend, my middle finger. I'm still holding the green one tight with my first finger and my thumb. I'm going to bend my middle finger down. I'm going to grab the green one on the back. I am going to hold on to it with my middle finger and my ring finger. Now I can let go here. I'm going to pull it through. I am going to grab it face down. I'm going to cross my hands. And now I have made my knot. It's a little bit hard to tell because the tape was pulling through and I couldn't do as hard as I might have wanted to, and it pulled out a little bit. But this is my throw. I'm going to come back and show you this, which is the right one. This is the right one. You can't see it because it's just the way that it is, but this is what it looks like. I just did this with this. I'm going to do it now a little bit faster so you can see that how you put your hands is really very helpful to doing this quickly, because you are going to make sure that you end up ready for the next throw every time. Okay? I'm going to start with my hand face up. I'm going to cross, and now it's face down. I'm going to come back. My finger gets caught in the hole. I'm going to come around and pull this through, and I'm going to pull it through face up, ready to start my third throw. And I'm going to come and do my third throw. And now I'm done. And there you go. I'm going to do that one more time. Let me try that again. There we go. When you practice this, use a string that is short enough that you can pull it through easily like I am. If you practice with something that is really long, you will get to this point and you'll be pulling, 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 and it will be harder. Okay? I will do it one more time, and then we'll talk about doing it left-handed. Now, having shown you this, now that you understand the concept, you realize that you could do exactly the same knot by, instead of doing, if we call this way throw 1, and we call this way throw 2, you could do exactly the same knot if you did throw 2, throw 1, throw 2. You could go 2, 1, 2. I learned to do it 1, 2, 1. It doesn't matter, just as long as each one is different. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to tie knots left-handed. I have some string here that I have taped on. It's a good thing that a good way for you to do it too when you're practicing. Okay. So, same as the right, just with the left hand now. So you're going to start out for your first throw with the, in this case, green string coming across your palm. So it's coming from where you've taped it down across your little finger first, and then across this way. You're going to hold on with your thumb against your index finger here to hold it kind of taut. Okay, you bring your hand down so that the white string goes between your index finger and your middle finger. With your right hand, you're going to put some tension on this white string so that it hits your middle finger right at the crease where you're going to bend your finger. You bend your finger against that tension. down and underneath the green string, which will be easier because you're holding it here so that the green string has some tension. I'm going to bring it up so that your middle finger is now against your ring finger. Your ring finger is going to be the helper now, so you let go of your thumb. And then you're going to hold it between your middle finger and index finger and pull it through. Then when it's pulled through, you're going to grab it with your hand down and then cross your hands and tighten. Now your hand is in the right position to do the second throw. You're holding the string with all of your fingers except your index finger curled up. Your index finger is sticking down so that when you bring your hands together, your index finger gets caught in this loop. You are going to again hold tension against your finger right where you're going to bend it at this crease. I think that it will help you to grab the green one on the back of your finger if you take your thumb and just put a little tension here. So you bend your finger over the white one into the loop of the green one, and you're going to pull it up and through. Now you let go, and when you pull through, you turn your hand over so that it is in exactly the position we started for the first throw, and just pull your hands apart to tighten. There's your square knot, and we're going to do the first throw again, so we have 1.5 square knots. I'm going to bring your hand down so that the white one goes between your first finger and your middle finger, holding tension with your right hand, holding with your thumb and your index finger on the green one. Then down over the white, pick up the green on the back of your finger, hold it with your ring finger, let go with your thumb, pull it through, and turn your hand over. And now you've completed your knot. We did throw 1, throw 2, and throw 1. If you wanted, you could do 2, 1, 2. It doesn't matter as long as you keep going back and forth from one to the next. So let me do it again a little bit more quickly. Okay, one more time. And when you practice, make sure that your strings are short enough like this so that you can pull them through fairly easily. There you go. Left-handed knot time. All right, so that was my little video to
This happens to
help
be
you
3/0
practice
which is
tying
probably
one-handed
the most common
surgeon's
thing
knots.
we use.
And I hope it was helpful. And let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to help. So have
This
fun
little
practicing.
Notch here is where you tear. Now remember, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do this right-handed. Let's take a look at the needle holder first. The needle holder has little teeth at the bottom that hold it closed. The way that you hold a needle holder is you want to put your thumb and your ring finger into the finger holes. Your middle finger will stay down here, and your index finger, most people like to have it up here. In order to release this so that you can open it up and get your needle out, you need to pull it together and push it apart. Your thumb is going to go a little up while your fingers here are going to go a little down. When you close it, you can just pull it together. You don't have to worry so much about up and down, and it will click into place. But a lot of people have trouble figuring out how to get it apart with one hand. You pull together and push a little bit apart. Okay? Okay. So, if you notice, the needle holder has little grooves that will hold the needle straight. That's another thing that will help you. So, we're going to go ahead and take the needle out. One thing to remember about chromic is that it comes out kind of wrinkled, bent, and you can stretch it and it will straighten out. So always give it, if you're practicing with chromic and also when you're really using it, stretch it. You can pull pretty hard and it will not break. It's suture, right? And you can see that I straightened it out a bit. Okay, now putting your needle on the needle holder right hand way. First of all, you're not going to put it at the very end where the suture actually attaches. And you don't want to put it very far around the curve or you won't have very much to use. You want to do it just about like that, so that there's a little bit of needle before the suture is attached, but you have a lot of needle to work with. Now, you need to do it straight. When I say straight, I mean straight, like you're not going to go like that. You want it to be at a 90-degree angle in that direction. You also aren't going to have it at an angle like that or like that. You are going to, if you're right-handed, you're going to have the needle on the left side pointing up completely at a 90-degree angle. Okay? So this is correct for right-handed. If you're going to put this on left-handed, it's going to need to be exactly opposite. So that you can use your left hand to go like this. Okay? So you're still having it at a 90-degree angle. You're still having it pointing up. It's just on the right side if you're a lefty. And it's on the left side if you're a righty. Now, when you're finished putting your needle on, you are no longer going to put your fingers inside these holes. You are going to hold it like this, or some people like to keep their index finger like this. The way that you're going to sew is this point here is going to start on the right side and end up on the left side. So you need to turn it all the way around so that you will start over here, you will come through, and you will end up over here. So this is the motion. It's a wrist motion. My fingers are not in here. It's a wrist motion like this. Lefty, let's turn it around. Same thing. You are going to hold like this or like this, and you are going to use your wrist to turn, to go through. Now I have some foam, and I'm going to use this just to show you how to tie the knot when you're actually using suture, and you'll understand why you can't use the initial thing that I was showing you with the foam cords to turn it. Okay? So we're just going to do a suture right here. Notice that I'm holding up here. I'm going to turn with my wrist. And of course, on the movie, I took too big of a bite so that I can't really actually show you how to do this. So let's try again. There we go. My fingers are in the finger holes while I'm manipulating the needle holder. Okay. I've made my first bite, and now I need to tie it. I'm going to pull the needle, I'm going to pull the suture through, because remember, I want to have all this suture to use. I don't want to tie it way in the middle and cut off a big piece and then not have very much to use. So I want to pull it until I have about this much. I'm going to take my needle holder and I'm going to put it in some safe place to the side where nobody can get stuck with it while I'm working. Okay? Now, right-handed, I'm going to show you what I just did with the string, except this is all one color, but I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Okay? I'm going to hold face up. I'm going to take the suture and put it, it's a lot easier with thicker string that will stay the way I want it to. Okay, I'm going to put it over my middle finger. I'm going to hold it against the crease there. I'm holding tightly to the end here. I'm going to bend my finger down. I'm going to take the end, hold it against my ring finger, let go here, pull it through, turn my hand over, and cross my hands and pull. There is my first throw. I am now going to stick my finger out so that it gets caught in the hole here. I am going to go down and grab it, and now turn my hand over this way and pull it tightly. That's my square knot. Now I'm going to do my first throw again. Cross my hands to tighten it. And then I will take my scissors. And if this is all I'm going to do, I will cut both of them off. If I were going to keep going with the same suture, I would just cut off the end. But since I'm going to not keep going and I'm just going to show you another one, I'm going to cut both of them off. Okay, now you can see that this much of my suture is going to get thrown away. And you want to keep this amount as small as possible so that you still can, of course, tie your knot, but you want to save suture. Okay, now let's do it left-handed. So I'm going to turn my needle around. Okay, we'll do the same thing we did before. Lefty. You're going to take your suture, put your needle through. And remember, when you're pulling it through, your needle is curved. You always use your wrist to twist. You don't try to twist the needle, you twist your wrist. Now, you're going to pull it through, and I'm sorry for reverting to right hand to do this part. I'm going to put my needle someplace safe over to the side. I'm going to pull it through to the amount that I need, but not any more than that. Okay, and now I'm going to do my tie. Sorry, I'm not quite as graceful left-handed as I am right. There you go. We have done a left-handed tie. And cut. Okay, there you have it. I hope this video has been helpful. And I am very open to any suggestions. If anybody has any questions or wants me to show them something else, I'm happy to. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have many hours of happy practice ahead of you, understanding how all this